Let's talk a bit about the return of Yuta, or as I like to call him, Gojin Jakuda. In chapter 261, we saw that Yuta has taken over Gojo's body after copying Kenjaku's CT, and this event pissed a lot of people off. And I was not a huge fan of this initially, and I still don't love the execution, but now that we are here, I am excited to see what is probably going to be the finale to Yuta's character arc in Jujutsu Kaisen, and potentially the end of his life, because right now, Yuta is on a 5-minute timer to either become Gojo 2 or plop down and die. And the conditions for this fight are obviously different than the original domain expansion clash because Sukuna is far from peak shape right now. He's missing 3 arms, he can't even use the World Slash right now, he's basically in great value brand mode. And while Yuta has some domain skills that might help him out against Sukuna, we will go into that in a second, he's not exactly the same as Gojo. One of the things that sets Gojo apart from nearly every other sorcerer is his spontaneity, and we saw that demonstrated throughout the Gojo vs Sukuna fight in that Gojo's ingenuity is what gets him out of situations, not just his power set. Yuta is able to pick up on subtle details like the domain expansion timing, but when it comes to things like recovering your CT early, Yuta didn't even think this was possible initially. So I really am interested to see how Yuta's intuition will compare to Gojo's in his own Sukuna fight, even if it's only 5 minutes. And Yuta has already shown the ability to isolate his sure hit within his own domain, so if he can translate that to Unlimited Void, Yuji and Todo should be able to fight with him. And if they are able to use the full power of Todo's Vibra Slap and the profound ability of Yuji to punch Sukuna in the face, then they should be able to have a pretty good shot at taking him down here. And I feel like we will see this because Yuji has already demonstrated that he at the very least suspects the shrine in the center of Malevolent Shrine is the key to taking down the domain. Gojo was also able to realize this, and now Yuta has all of Gojo's memories, so I'd be pretty shocked if somebody didn't go after the shrine. And we have a unique case here with Yuta being in Gojo's body versus Kenjaku in Geto's body, in that Gojo was a superior sorcerer to Yuta, while Kenjaku was just a straight up better version of Geto. And because of that, the knowledge and experience of Gojo could benefit Yuta in ways that Geto's knowledge never could have benefited Kenjaku. So it remains to be seen, but Yuta might be able to pull off some things here that he was never capable of prior, even if we take Gojo's CT and 6 eyes out of the equation. But is a 5-minute fire sale Gojo enough time to win? Well, in theory, it should be, because we have timestamps on the previous domain expansion collapses already. During the Gojo vs Sukuna fight, their domains were collapsing simultaneously at the 3-minute mark, and now Sukuna was only able to maintain this full output domain for 1 minute and 30 seconds. The 1 minute and 30 second domain timer might be different now, but it looks to be the same domain, so I don't really see why that would be the case. So the future is looking temporarily bright. Todo and Yuji were already doing a pretty decent job before they were about to get Fugan on, and with the introduction of Yuta here, I think we're going to have a pretty different fight in this domain battle than a lot of people are expecting, because for some reason a lot of people seem to think this is going to be the exact same as the prior domain expansion battles, but this time there is no real adaptation plan. Sukuna can use domain amplification as much as he wants, and personally I always want to see Sukuna fight with a true form versus Gojo, and even though we got like a Frankenstein version of that, I'm still happy to see it in some shape. A lot of people are saying this is taking away from Yuji and Todo's moment, but I don't think it necessarily is. Like I said before, they're probably going to be involved in this fight, and they also already said this was their last resort to bring Gojo's body back like this. And after this whole Gojo scenario, I can't really think of who else would show up besides Nobara, because people have been talking about her being alive forever, and I've been on the record for saying that Nobara is dead for a long time, but the way they brought Todo back with 0 mentions for like 100 chapters, I really can't rule it out at this point. We are in unprecedented territory for Jujutsu Kaisen, and people keep talking about a plot twist, and I don't think this is the plot twist. Yuta coming back like this could lead into the merger fight, but I am unconvinced, because there is a foundation being set here for a major plot reveal, and most importantly, a Sukuna backstory reveal. A lot of people seem to treat Sukuna as though he is just an obstacle for the characters to overcome, which in some ways he is, but he's also his own character. And Gege Akutami has been laying the groundwork for who this character is and where he's going to end up for years now. Characters like Yorozu, Yuji, and Gojo make Sukuna question his own ideology, what love means to him, and we even see him spacing out about who he is in the middle of combat. We know that Sukuna knew Tengen, and even more recently, we know that Sukuna had a twin brother who he ate in the womb, which could have been a cursed womb for all we know. I'd be pretty surprised if Sukuna was outright born with 4 arms and 4 eyes, and not only that, they also talk about him being the Fallen, which implies he fell from grace at some point. They compare his appearance directly to Tengen, and Tengen says they are more cursed spirit than human at this point, and while Sukuna may not be a cursed spirit, he's probably not entirely human either. Tengen talks about the Culling Games as though it is a ritual they have performed before, before, and Kenjaku even says that he never intended to make a move until today, regardless of Gojo's interference. And Yuji and Sukuna coexisting is part of Kenjaku's master plan, according to himself. So while I think the merger will occur, I don't think it's going to end with a kaiju, and that's just my opinion. Sukuna already talks about the merger creature like it's weaker than him, and if they don't remove his domain, he is going to be able to open up his Malevolent Shrine after Burnout over and over, and potentially Fuga over and over. And the end of chapter 261 does say that the counter to the open barrier of Malevolent Shrine has been revealed once again by Satoru Gojo. Most people expect they're talking about the tiny golf ball domain, but if we're bringing Limitless back into the story, I hope it's something new instead. Especially considering this might be the end of Yuta, or at the very least, his final battle in this series. And if you are going to bring a character back after bisecting them, you better give them something cool to do. But if you want my opinion on who's going to come out on top here, probably Sukuna. I know, crazy take, but that just seems to be the way these things go. Sukuna just takes W after W. And they keep telling us that Sukuna is a cannibal. Sukuna himself constantly talks about the flavors of humans, and this dude is enormous. He's been fighting the entire day. He needs a post-workout meal. He's burned a lot of calories. All I've seen him eat is Tengen, and Tengen does not look like a succulent dinner to me, so he either needs to eat Toto or call up this guy to use the Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory domain expansion. But those are just some of my thoughts on chapter 261 and where I think the story might be going. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more, and as always, thanks for watching.